that's one thing. What happened? So that's one thing that's cool about the gospel. So you don't always have to think of Christianity or Mormonism in terms of gospel or religion. And even Jesus himself came to free some people or all people from religion, in the sense of, like, if your religion or if any religion prevents you from accepting any truth, if your religion has you becoming focused on lower priorities, like maybe you're more focused on ceremony than actually helping someone who's sick or injured. So I think one thing that helps people or would help people is if they realized you're only going to be happy if you're free from the world. And that's kind of what Jesus came to teach us. He came to free us from life. He came to free us from this world. So there's the pain aspect, we all suffer pain. And he came to suffer all pains. And then he can help us. He can help us with his spirit. We can pray and receive help from other people. If we have a problem, a broken back or whatever, he might help you get a doctor or a chiropractor. So he's a helper. And think about the character of Jesus. Like, I've just been thinking about this past couple of days, is like, he has such a loving heart. He's so loving. And I'm talking about before he was born. He was so loving, even before he was born, that he was willing to take care of everybody in every age. So, like, he was willing to take care of Adam and Eve and then their children during their time. He doesn't care what time period you live in. Like, he's always loved people. And he's always been willing to love people. Always, everywhere. Are you black? You're white? You're rich? You're a sinner? It's like, it's just amazing. And there was a part where a woman had, touched his garment and was healed because of her belief that Jesus could heal her. He called her daughter. And I always used to think that was kind of weird. Daughter, But if you want to be like Jesus, that's how you have to view yourself. You have to view yourself as the father of everybody. Like, you got to feel like you have responsibility over people. Maybe responsibility is not the right word for us, but like, everybody matters, Therefore, the gospel matters. So going back, I kind of got off track there. So something that people don't realize is Jesus has been religionized. He's been put into a box. He's been put into this little cone, this little jar. He's a religion. Like, Jesus is a religion. Now, I believe that the Mormon Church is his church, but Jesus is here to help people overcome the world. I guess there's two types of people. Like, there's the people who they're born in this world and they love everything about the world. They just spend their whole life with food and sex and murder. There's some people who like to murder. There's some people who like to take advantage of other people. Okay, that might be different. That might be just the wicked. But the worldly people are the people who are just obsessed with the world their whole lives. And I think I'm obsessed with the world. I think I'm obsessed with food. But anyway. So, because you're a spirit and because you're going to live for eternity, you want to have control over yourself. You don't want the world to have control over you. You see? So, we needed a power, God's power, and God's power is enough. His Spirit goes everywhere. His love can be in your heart. It can be everywhere. And so he sent, for one thing, he sent an example. Like sending Jesus was like an example. But beside that, he always, with the Israelites at least, with the people who believed in God, with the children of God, they always believed in sin. And one aspect of sin, one way to think of sin in terms of overcoming the world, is just when you do something worldly, when you do something like if you have sex the wrong way, if you have sex outside of marriage, if you give in to your body, like if you masturbate or whatever, if you hurt someone, if you murder someone, if you lie, if you think about it, if you lie, lying is always a protection of your body, not your spirit. Because nothing here on this planet can hurt your spirit. Nothing. Lying is always a worldly thing. Because lying is always to get worldly gain. It's never to get spiritual gain. So when we lie, so Jesus helped us to become totally honest. Jesus is the example. He was completely honest about who he was. He was completely honest about God. He was completely honest about false religion. He was just completely honest. Now, he didn't teach everything he knew. But he was honest about other people. He would tell people who they were and what they thought, and he would tell people whether they were doing good, whether they were doing bad, and he did it in love. But at least just from the small amount of scriptures we have of him, he never lied. He didn't need to, because he was doing what he was sent here to do, and that was it. And so there was no reason to lie. And I think about lying. You can think about your own life. Why do you lie? You lie to get worldly gain. You lie to protect your mortal body. You lie so that you can be more comfortable in your mortal body or in a relationship. And so that's why you don't want to lie. That's why for the people who want to overcome the world, for the people who want to be in the world, but they don't want to be overcome by it. The difference is an observer. You can be an observer here on earth. You can learn from other people and stuff, versus a partaker. Now, obviously, that makes you think about Eve. She partook of what was worldly. The worldly fruit was there. It's fine to observe it. It's fine to know it's there, and it's fine to see Satan. God allowed Satan to come and talk with them. Satan could hang out with Adam and Eve because God wanted to give them the choice. God wanted to give Adam and Eve choice to see if they would choose spiritual or mortal, spiritual or worldly. Now, some say that Eve had wisdom in the sense that she was like, well, I'm going to partake of the world, but I'm going to do it for the good of my children. So that's okay. So Jesus, he came, and Satan was allowed to come and converse with him and talk with him. And since Jesus only cared about the spiritual, or he only cared about righteousness and doing right, he didn't give in to anything that Satan said. I don't know what Satan thought about that. Like, was he mad? Was he surprised? Let's ask that question. Was Satan surprised at any of his responses? Because Jesus hadn't resurrected yet. He hadn't done his ministry. So maybe Satan is arrogant, and he does deceive himself. Who knows? I don't know if Satan was surprised. But I mean, he probably thought, well, I'm gonna give him everything. I'm gonna if he wants food, if he wants sex, if he wants to be the ruler of the world, I will give him whatever he wants. That's how much he tempted Jesus. See, men are tempted and give in to little things. $10. You can tempt a guy with $10, he might do something wrong, or you might tempt him with 5 seconds of seeing a lady, and he's like, okay, I'm going to go commit adultery with her, and she might even be ugly. You could tempt some men with an ugly woman to commit adultery and then do it. So I'm just saying, he was going to give him everything, which is ironic because Satan giving you everything, Satan giving you the world, it's perishable. Like your body's going to die, But Jesus was like, well, why don't I hang out with God and inherit everything that God has? Which he did, which he does. He's inherited everything. And so Jesus has sex, I guess, maybe. He has an unlimited number of friends, and he probably can eat whatever he wants. So, he has more than Satan could have given him, because even if Jesus accepted the world, so it's like I don't want to be in the world. Well, I don't want to be worldly, because it hurts and it's stressful. And what I mean is there's a part of me that is spiritual. There's a part of me that is righteous or wants to be righteous. There's a part of me that wants to be with God. I guess I want to be with him because he's my father, because he's nice. He gives me a lot of stuff. He gave me this world. He gave me my family, my mother, he gives me a lot of material blessings. He makes me feel good, so I want to be in a place where people are nice and where I can feel peace. So it's not just that you love God, it's like you love where he is. I mean, when you die, according to the scriptures, there's not very many places you can go. Like people don't die and then just go wherever they want in the universe, I guess. The scriptures talk about the confinement of your spirit or your life after this life. It's like you are confined to heaven or hell or in between, it's very confining, and it's in the sense of who you are and where you're going to be. And so that's what I love about the gospel. That's what I love about Jesus. That's what I love, that there's a power, there's a spirit that is a power, it is an influence, that it's a power that helps you to not give in to sexual sin, to be sexually pure. There's a power, the greatest power it's the power that cleanses you from your wrong decisions. Any wrong decision you make. Because you think about it, when you fight with your wife, when I fought with my wife, it was like, it's so painful, and it's like so many times it was painful, and so many times the pain went away. The next day, feel a little bit better, and it's like, how does that happen? How does that happen that we have a pain, an emotional pain, and it goes away? Like, how does that happen? I don't know. How is it that I used to not have peace, and then now I do? Something happened in me, in my spirit, in my emotional makeup, and it's like God has that power. God has the power to help you through your burdens, to turn you into an honest person. Now, I think for me, one reason why I lie or I am dishonest when I am, I is like, if you think about it, isn't it, when you really come down to it, isn't it because you're afraid? Because you're like, when you lie or when you do something in secret, you're afraid one or two things. Either you're afraid of the person's reaction, whoever you're lying to or whoever you're keeping the secret from, or you're afraid that if you tell the truth, you won't get to do what it is that you're going to do. So what you're going to do might be good, but you feel like, well, you can't tell the other person because then they'll say no. Here's the thing. Maybe this is the thing. If you have to lie to do something good, it makes that thing not good, maybe. So like, I did something in secret. I didn't tell my mom. I used the car to do something. And it was good. But it's like, it feels kind of stressful doing it in secret and, using the car and stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, even if it was like for a health reason, it's unhealthy because you're going to feel a little guilt or a little stress about having to do it in secret. Because doing things in secret is stressful. It's like physically unhealthy if you think about it. It's got to be. For some people who don't have a conscience, maybe it's not, but